Welcome back to the Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. It's another series victory for the Boston Red Sox. And I don't know where you're at on this, Tyler. I don't know where you're at in terms of your belief that this 2023 Boston Red Sox team is a playoff team. Where do you fall on the Red Sox playoffs hopes and aspirations on this August 13th Sunday baseball edition of the Redacted podcast?
Well, I was hoping, as we talked about right before the pod started, when the Red Sox won today, they are 3 games out currently of the wild card. The Blue Jays were losing 2-0. They're now up 8-2. So
yeah,
assuming they're still 3 games out, I feel really kind of how I have. I think they're going to be in it until that last week of the season. Now, if things somehow go right, everything clicks for them in the way they need to, is there a way they could slip into the playoffs? Sure. And I think there are things in this series you look at. And I think that's really what defines the series. Say what you will about the last series. You know, you took 3 out of 4. There wasn't much to get excited about out of this. The last couple games, Trevor Story, Garrett Whitlock today, Chris Sale on Friday. Those are real things that could kind of lift this team and take them to another level. I think there's also warning signs, and we'll get into them with Bello and some of these other guys where they're going to have to be really careful the remaining 6 weeks of the season. But they're in the conversation. They're going to remain in it. Anyone thinking they're going to fall out, I think you're being too dramatic. If you're sitting here and telling me I definitely think they're making the wild card, there's no doubt, I think you're also pushing it. The playoff odds are what, like 15% right now?
Something like that.
That feels right. If everything goes right for you, yeah, you may slip in. But more likely than not, there's just too many variables in play, too many things that need to go perfect for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's 50. Does 15% feel right?
Right in that ballpark. You have the Mariners still in front of you who are doing that thing every year where they trade assets at the deadline. And
they can't keep this up.
Probably not, but they can pitch.
Definitely
and if you can pitch, you're going to remain in the conversation. I think that's what it is with them, especially this time of year. But the Blue Jays in front of you, that's the real one. And say what you will. Yeah, you started the year off 7-0 against them. They've still been ahead of you for, this entire season in this spot. So what can you really say? Even when you were giving them your best punch and you were ahead, they still were better than you. So yeah, you're going to have to expect them to collapse.
Tyler, the only thing you can really say is that this episode is sponsored by Knockaround Sunglasses. Quality, polarized, affordable shades, including new MLB and U.S. women's soccer team pairs. Check them out at knockaround.com. Also, check out the standings, because the Toronto Blue Jays, as Tyler just mentioned, are up big on the Chicago Cubs. The Mariners had finally lost the baseball game. They were on the doorstep of being able to take over that third wild card spot, but it's not as doom and gloom as maybe it felt like after the Toronto Blue Jays sweep. Like, that felt like nail in the coffin. Like, that felt like, all right, this is it's a wrap on the 2023 Boston Red Sox. And maybe that it
prompted the death blow tweet.
Yeah, like that could still end up being the series that you look back on and saying, even if you just took one game, how would things have shaken out differently? Because right now you're still you're still recovering from getting swept by the Toronto Blue Jays. Things would look a lot different if that didn't happen in any way. Just if, like I said, if you won one game in that series, but you're currently 2 back of Seattle, and then that's it. Then you got to knock out the Toronto Blue Jays. So you're not going to gain any ground. They did lose 3 straight baseball games, which was very helpful. Thank you for doing that, Toronto. But yeah, 15%, 15 to 20 feels right, because I think when you look at the Red Sox chances of making the playoffs, I don't know if this is like a sacrilegious take, but this is how I feel. Wouldn't it just feel weird if they made the playoffs? Like, at no point during the course of this year did I feel like, man, I'm watching a playoff team right now.
Yeah, you would have to look at it and say a team like the Blue Jays that have a higher talent level than you. Like, you just look roster to roster, we have that conversation. People have the Blue Jays in the World Series. That was a World Series pick for a lot of people this year, thinking,
I think it was my pick.
This is the year. Reality is, right, talking about the Blue Jays, they'd have to collapse. Things would have to go wrong. One big pillar has fallen for them this year. Alek Manoah, back to AAA. Right? Like, that's a legit piece you can pull away from that team that everyone kind of talked about and was saying that's going to be a main reason why they're going to be good. Well, all right, that knocks them down a leg. The Yankees and everything they're going through, injuries are just adding up day after day after day. That equals into the equation as well. But still, yeah, I don't look at the Red Sox and say, oh, this was a playoff team all year. Do they have the ability to be if they're playing to their highest ceiling? Yeah, for stretches, but consistently? No. And that's why we see the ups and downs with this team from week to week. They are not your prototypical playoff team, but if you get hot at the right time, anything's possible in baseball. We know that.
Yeah, I don't at any point, even like during the first week of the season, it's like Corey Kluber is the opening day starter for this team. This is not a playoff team. Like, it never even got off the ground. Like, Corey Kluber was the opening day starter for this team. The entire time you're waiting for Trevor Story. Then you lose Chris Sale, and you're waiting for Chris Sale and Trevor Story. Garrett Whitlock and Tanner Houck go down. You're waiting for them to come back. It's like you've always just been waiting for guys to come back, and now they're starting to come back. We're going to talk about that because Trevor Story is back in a big way. Chris Sale is back in a big way, albeit one start. It's a big start. We've got to talk about it. Garrett Whitlock comes back today, looks really fucking good. So that's why, I sit here and say at no point have they felt like a playoff team. But when you say 15%, I lean more towards 20% because how much of that 15% is factoring in how much different the team is going to look like in the coming weeks here. Like, yeah, you've got Seattle and Toronto ahead of you. Sure. Yeah, those things are true. But those teams are pretty much either locked in with what they've got, or like you mentioned, they're losing guys. Alek Manoah just got demoted to AAA, not down to single A, but to AAA. You're now getting back Chris Sale, who dominated. You're getting back Garrett Whitlock, who's in your bullpen, who dominated. And you've already got arguably one of the best back ends of any bullpens in baseball. Like the Chris Martin, Kenley Jansen, and even if you want to mention him in the same sentence as those guys, because they've been a different tier in my opinion. Like Winkowski sucked to start the year. No, excuse me. Winkowski was dominant to start the year. Then he sucked, and now he's back to being good again. So I don't necessarily put him in the same tier as Martin and Jansen. And it's not because I think he's a fucking dickhead. I think it's just genuinely like Martin and Jansen have just been good all year outside of like the back-to-back blown saves against the Cardinals. But like that was what, May at this point?
Yeah, that was May. And Chris Martin, since he came off the IL, has been excellent. And what's even crazier, there's another name you didn't mention there, John Schreiber. Like John Schreiber is also part of this mix. And, he's building back up, but coming off a really good outing last time out with 3 strikeouts. This could be one of the best, if not the best bullpen in baseball with this much depth. And, we're not even mentioning Chris Murphy. What Chris Murphy's done this year, he had another 3-inning save the other day.
Well, we're going to mention Chris Murphy because that outing that he had in this series against the Tigers is not going to be one that just gets mulled over. That is going to be something that we highlight. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say because on one hand, I am saying, yeah, like it would kind of be weird if the Red Sox ended up making the playoffs because I know that it was a struggle to get there in 21, but I felt like if they didn't make it in 21, that would have just been an injustice. Like I was like, this team is a playoff team. Like 21 deserved the postseason. It was a fun ride to get there, and it was a fun ride once we got there. But this team, it's like, it's so up and down. Like, yeah, like there have been highs, no doubt. Like, it's not just been like a completely disappointing season or whatever. It's been a little bit of everything. Like, you've had your highs, you've had your lows, and you've also had a lot of developmental years for guys. Like, that you're not like you're getting good seasons, good to great seasons from guys like Casas and Duran that, back in March, you would say, yeah, this is like a developmental year for them. All right, well, now they're contributors. And now we'll get to Brian Bello, who pitched in the series, the one loss in the series to the Tigers. And at points, he looked like an ace. And now we're having conversations about Brian Bello maybe taking a little bit of a step back, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been a very odd mix of you've got proven veterans, guys that have won before, mixed in with guys that are developing, but now they're contributing the way that you would hope that they would. I don't know.
It's not crazy because you go back and we talk about Chris Sale, right? You had him until June. You lost Garrett Whitlock at the end of April. By the time Whitlock was coming back, Sale was going back on the IL, right? Trevor Story and Chris Sale. That just had never happened at any point this year and has really not happened at all since Trevor Story signed his contract here. I saw something. It was like, They had played like less than 10 games together or something like that. Like last year, right when Trevor Story was coming back, or right when Chris Sale was coming back, Trevor Story breaks his hand. Right after in the Tampa Bay game, that was Chris Sale's first start. And that's where the fracture happened for Trevor Story. So like you assign all these guys and they kind of come back into the mix here. A lot is possible. It's just what are the impacts on other guys like a Brian Bello, who Core's kind of telling you, like they are being very cautious with him moving forward right now. I think there's numbers that kind of really point to this. Like, we talked since the All-Star break for Brian Bello, right? 6 starts, 567 ERA, 611 FIP. The K per 9's down to 7. Home runs per 9 is 2.4. 16 of his 20 starts this year have come with an extra day of rest. That's a 339 ERA. He was on regular rest the other day. It's a 582 ERA in those other starts. It's a 495 ERA going back to July 4th. And we're watching him kind of work through some things. The slider is getting hit hard. It's getting hit to a 357 batting average, 400 against the cutter. I think both of those pitches are so key for him at this point to taking that next step, whether it's a breaking ball he can use to put away guys or the cutter to help against lefties who, Kerry Carpenter taking you to the fucking moon, taking a lot of people to the moon. He took Chris Sale to the moon as well. But like those are things he kind of needs to grow. These are the ups and downs for a rookie, but he's already at 119 innings this season. He was at 152 last year. I think they know over the next 6 weeks, yeah, he's probably feeling it. Like we kind of got to bring him in. Cutter Crawford today didn't get up to 80 pitches. I think he was at 71. His velo still a tick down, 0.8. James Paxton, we've been talking about him adjusting and trying to do this on a regular schedule. When Tanner Houck comes back, they're already looking at planning a bullpen day here and there. I think the Dodger series is the day they have scheduled, one of those games, so that they can help these guys just stay healthy and be fresh. It's going to be a real question mark. Now, Chris Sale was one of the things I mentioned at the beginning of the year, worrying about this team and where they'd be at this point if he had pitched all season. That arm's fresh. Garrett Whitlock's going to be fresh. Tanner Houck's fresh. So can they balance it out? That's really going to decide how far they can go here, along with the offense and whether they can show up and do their job, because they've been incredibly inconsistent. But Justin Turner and what we saw the last couple days, Saturday and Sunday, he is the key to this lineup consistently moving and being what they've been for a majority of the year. A top 10 team in baseball in terms of runs scored. If he can hit like this with a bad heel or a bad bone bruise, it's a game changer.
Before we get into all that, because there are multiple different topics to hit on in this series against the Detroit Tigers, there is something that we need to do, Tyler, that you
what is it?
Didn't prepare for.
Could it be? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I did. Ah, fuck.
Okay. Is this thing on? Welcome back. Sale day. Cassis can't hit lefties? Wrong. Story's hurt, you say? Question mark. Storyland open. Bullpen Whitlock awoken. Duval Nuke stroked it. Series of haikus by Tyler Milligan.
Whoa! That was a good one.
So I got a little pushback on the first day. People thought it was like, oh, Tyler, once again, you hit your stride and then you have a rough one. Yeah. I thought today's haiku wasn't bad, though.
Yeah, today's haiku was good. Yeah, that was a good one. It was a good haiku.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you think the first one was that bad?
Yeah.
Really? It was a little bit of a shot at McCarthy, and I think maybe that's why I held on to it a lot, because people calling Trevor Story hurt. I think you saw in this series, building up, definitely not fucking hurt. Looks athletic.
What's up with Coley? Coley fucking hates Trevor Story, huh?
Oh, well, let's be real. I think it's some of the pain from the Xander Bogaerts situation. We had the debate, me and him, on here about him playing shortstop all the way back over the offseason, and he was ready. Did he want to trade Trevor Story? Was that part of one of his, trade rumors that he was floating about, trying to find a way out of that Trevor Story deal?
I don't remember that.
Now, this is pre-elbow blown out Trevor Story as well.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it's always been his thing. Like today wasn't the first day that he came for Trevor Story, but I think he unretired from Threads just to come back to Twitter to get off his Trevor Story takes.
Well, now that his screen name is #1 Trevor Story supporter on record in those quotation marks. He didn't want to give Trevor Story any credit for that cutoff today. Was not interested. Lou stepped in. Did you see that?
Saw Lou defending the crown. Yep.
I listen. And now Coley, everything he's seeing Trevor Story, he's giving him love. Trevor Story made history today.
I saw that.
Became the third player in Red Sox franchise history to record at least 3 extra base hits and 2 stolen bases in a game. Coley says historic with an exclamation point. But I think a lot of people, right, with Trevor Story, it was a very rough first season here. A lot of people got super down on him. And partially it was, he was supposed to be that chip that put you over the top. There were a lot of things wrong with that 2022 team. But the way the Red Sox, frame this entire picture, hey, we're adding Trevor Story. This was our buzzer beater move to put us over the top. We're staying over the luxury tax. This is going to be the guy. Like, we're going to add him. He's going to bring the athleticism and the defense we didn't have the year before. Get fucking excited. Now, a lot of the people that were like, oh, well, they're planning to let Xander walk and take off. They never could accept Trevor Story. Well, we're all past that. The damage is done. Xander's gone. Xander's in San Diego. It is what it is at this point. Whether you want to believe the Red Sox wanted him here or not, that's up to you. We've had that discussion on here a million times. But even the biggest Trevor Story haters, a lot of y'all said he could not play shortstop even after the elbow was fixed. Clearly wrong at this point. Have we seen anything between the rehab assignments and what he's done on the field here to say he can't play shortstop? None. He looks great out there. He's making good throws. We saw the cutoff play today. He's running around well. He stole a couple bags today, up to 3 on the season, and he's hitting liners. We talked about the toe tap last year. Toe tap Trevor Story. Could that be the thing that fixed his timing here? Because, last season, I still have nightmares of that Shohei Ohtani game where he was getting throttled every time. You could tell he could not catch up to the velocity. Well, last year, I think I gave the numbers last episode about what he was with the toe tap, but before he hurt his heel, it was 13 games with a 340 batting average, 889 OPS. There were signs. Today, or really the last couple days, he hasn't looked late on anything. He's jumping on pitches. He's shooting the ball the other way. Like, what more? And one of those balls did fall in before anyone wants to say, oh, well, Akil Baddoo lost that ball in the sun. Fucking spare me. He's hitting the ball hard. He hasn't played in major league games in a year. The fact that it's kind of clicking this quickly, how can you not be excited?
All right, so it's 3 for 4. Like, that's still a really good day. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't go 4 for 4. I actually went 3 for 4. And one of the balls that he hit, I don't know what the wooded dong would have been, but it was like 110 off the bat, off the wall to dead center, and that had to have been a home run in several ballparks.
The one to center field, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. There's a lot of people who don't want to give Trevor Story flowers or believe that he's not a bust signing that you can add to the list of some of the tougher signings Chaim Bloom has had. But we haven't seen healthy Trevor Story in years. And clearly it was holding him back in some ways. He looks freer out there. He just looks more comfortable. So, yeah, if you can get back to the 2020 version of Trevor Story, 120 OPS, he's going to give you, obviously a shortened season there, but somewhere between 25-ish home runs and 20 stolen bags with above average defense at shortstop, he will be one of the best all-around shortstops in baseball. I think this deal, 6 years for 140, it's going to end up being a really solid contract for the Red Sox. I do, and I've kind of been consistent on that. If you don't want to believe in the player, fine, be that way. Is he going to strike out sometimes? Yep. Is he going to hit 300? No, that's not the kind of player he is. But sign me up for 260 and those 20 jacks, because that's exactly what this team needs right now. Arguably, they need even less to get by based on what they've had at shortstop this year.
Yeah, they just need stability. I mean, you've had an entire season of a revolving door, not just at shortstop, but up the middle, like both positions. It's been a revolving door. So Trevor Story brings stability. He brings a right-handed bat that you're going to be able to depend on for some damage. You got that in the finale, which was nice to see. Even just like whatever, like people want to I mean Coley, the saying like, oh, you didn't need to cut that ball off. Like, yeah, you did. Like, whatever. Like, Trevor Story's a very good defensive player. He can run like a motherfucker. I feel like lost in the Trevor Story, I guess, like, description is the fact that he can run. And give him credit for anyone that was trying to take away from him. Like, oh, he actually went 3 for 4 because that ball fell in with the sun. Yeah, and he was on second base when that ball fell in. Not every big leaguer is standing on second base during that play. They're staring at it from first base, like still like jogging up the line. So again, that's a hustle play. That's a credit to Trevor Story. So I'm happy that he's back. Big
And
series for him.
And the Duvall RBI single, like he gets the third on a single on the grounder into left field. Like you're not scoring on that, or at least it's going to be a very close play if you're coming from second. He stole second and third. He went and took it. Even in the lowest of the low points of Trevor Story's career, he still had a 2.5 WAR in 94 games last year.
Yeah,
2.5. So you're telling me he would have been what, a 3.5, 4 WAR player if he was healthy for 6 years and 140 million? That's still a very good contract, and that's the lowest Trevor Story you're ever going to see. A guy with a bum fucking elbow who just had a kid in a new environment, playing a new position and trying to figure it out all on the go. Dude was poisoned a week into the year with food poisoning, fighting for his life. You ever shit water and try to hit a baseball? You know how fucking hard that is? Like everything that could have went wrong for this guy last year went wrong. Give him time, and he's already showing you. You know, people 2 games in, he's 0 for 8 with 4 Ks. You were the people begging for him to come up, and then when he starts doing shit, you don't give him the credit for it. Can't have it both ways.
That must be infuriating for him, honestly. He has the personality, though, where I know he doesn't actually give a fuck, but if it were most people, they probably wouldn't. I mean, there are players that are probably, you know what, fuck these fans. and
Pablo Sandoval?
Yeah, like no, not Pablo Sandoval. But you can't blame some of them where, like, if they feel that way.
Where you show up and you just don't connect. It gets off on the wrong foot and you never settle it. Did he bitch last year? No, he took accountability when the Red Sox medical team fucked the guy and told him, hey, your wrist is fine. 2 weeks, Trevor, you're fine. It's a bruise, right? No, you have a fucking fracture that's going to keep you out, and it took them a week to find it. And he thought he was coming back fresh off the IL. Turns out, no, it's going to be a lot longer. Give the guy a chance. He will show you he is a very good ball player. Is he going to mean as much to you as Xander Bogaerts? Probably not, because he wasn't drafted here. He's not homegrown. You may never let it go. But if you told me Trevor Story was a better player over the next 3 or 4 years, would I be shocked? No, I wouldn't.
Most meaningful return that happened over this past weekend. Well, you can count Story.
I'd go Chris Sale.
Chris Sale. Jake?
I feel like it's Story just because you can't count on Sale for being here for that long.
Then he's going to be out there every day. He did get Saturday off. But you know what I mean. As an everyday player.
I think the reason I lean Chris Sale, and the biggest difference for me with Chris Sale this time compared to what we saw in the beginning of the year, he didn't look like he was fully trying to learn how to ride the bike again. Like when he started back in March or April, right? He looked like a guy who was like, I'm trying to learn how to pitch. Today, I saw a guy who was like, I haven't thrown in a couple months. I've been trying to get healthy, but I know what I did from, the end of April until, June 1st when I got hurt. The command. He didn't walk a single guy. There was a hit by pitch of Javi Baez at the end, but 7 Ks, carving. The velocity was just about where it had been earlier this year. And I think when you talk about this rotation and how far they can go over the coming weeks, with Bello maybe kind of slowing down here and hitting a wall, Cutter possibly falling into that same, not able to give you the same amount of innings. Then you kind of look at James Paxton and some of the ups and downs he's had recently. They're trying to be careful with him. Chris Sale might be the key, kind of the igniter that keeps that rotation afloat, while some guys aren't as sharp as they were when they were carrying this team throughout the summer.
What was the highest velocity you saw from him? 95?
Yeah, his average on the year was legit, like perfect. There was no drop or increase based on where he had been previously this year. Now, he wasn't what he was in, late May when it was getting upper 90s, but it was like 93, 94.
He was perfect through 4 innings. Ends up striking out 7, comes out for that 5th inning of work and gives up the homer. But no walks. We'd love to see that. Just the 1 hit, which was the home run. But 4 perfect innings to start that outing from Christopher Allen Sale. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, I feel like the big thing, like when you're having the debate about which player coming back makes the biggest impact, I almost lean Sale because he's like that last piece of like a Red Sox team that had an identity. Like this Red Sox team, I feel like doesn't really have an identity. Like what's their thing?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And you know what? What's their identity arguably over the last month? It's been these bullpen games and then the bullpen kind of stepping up. Well, the bullpen was taxed. We saw how quickly it falls in on itself when you have those multiple bullpen days each week, when your arms, all the ones you depend on all year, they don't look as fresh. We saw that Seattle series where it kind of weighs on them. We're watching Dinelson Lamet and all these different guys come up and down as they try to give you fresh arms and give you something new to look at. Chris Sale coming back pushes guys into other roles, allows you to be more versatile with how you plan these arms. It's massive for the entire pitching staff, just having another impact arm there. It's why we were so mad they didn't get an arm at the trade deadline. This can have the same exact effect as, I don't want to say Michael Lorenzen because you could probably depend on that more, but, we're talking a number 5 starter. Chris Sale has a way higher ceiling than that, and if he can stay healthy for the next 6 weeks, that's a game changer for them. That can put them in this conversation even more.
Big time. Yeah. And even just seeing Whitlock today, like you look at what Garrett Whitlock goes out there and does, and he hit 97.
Jared, I felt some things I wasn't sure I'd feel again watching that. I was questioning myself in some serious ways.
Are you ready to admit that you were wrong?
In the grand scheme of things, right? If he ends up being a reliever, yeah, because I thought
he is.
Jared, okay, as the guy 2 months ago.
Jared,
a month ago. Tyler, you were right. Tyler, you were so correct.
Well, now you're wrong.
And I can put my hand up here because you flip back and forth. Garrett Whitlock showed why the starter experiment was worth it, right? Earlier in the year, as we saw through stretches, multiple starts, month where he looked like the guy we were talking about. He fixed the velo band on the changeup. It was like, all right, this guy could be the kind of workhorse you want him to be. But what ended up being the difference, and it's the same thing we talked about over the offseason, could the body hold up? It didn't. The reality is the body has not held, and at least for this year, they've kicked that can down the road and said, we're not pushing it anymore. The velo across the board, the sinker up 2.4 miles per hour in this, just compared to his season average. Changeup up 1.4, sweeper up 3.1, and the four-seamer was up 1.2. So you're seeing in that 2-inning burst where it all plays up, and he got screwed by Pablo Reyes defensively there. But I saw the confidence, the command that I kind of, missed how easily he put away guys in that role for this year. And I said this a week or two ago. Yeah, it was the right move. But at the end of the day, if the body can't hold and this is what it is, then I'll put my hand up and say, Garrett Whitlock's not a starter. I'm wrong. This is where he needs to be. But I always put the caveat, if his body couldn't handle it, then he needed to be in the bullpen. Well, it didn't happen. I was wrong. That was, but we all thought they were trending in that direction, him being able to handle it. It didn't. So hand up. Garrett Whitlock, for now, I'm taking the L on that, and I'm okay. If he looks like this, I can swallow that every single day. That's what she said. I'm not, you can't get acknowledged for that, Jared. Jared, you do not get acknowledged for something where you flip sides on.
No, I just said it was working for now, but...
Oh, no, you did not. Nope. Spare me on that bullshit.
Tyler.
Be accountable.
Tyler, I'll be accountable right now.
Least accountable person I ever met.
Tyler, I will go back and I will explain everything that took place in this debate. I said I wanted Garrett Whitlock to stay in the bullpen because he's an electric reliever. I said he was a pedestrian starter. And then this year, there was a month where he was like a pretty good starter. That's still not better than an elite back end of the bullpen reliever that can go multiple innings. So if you were to ask me at the end of this year, based on, like, let's say, God forbid, that it was a season-ending injury for Garrett Whitlock and we didn't see him again. So the one sample that we saw of him this year was when he was a pretty good starter to pedestrian at times. And then we have the debate again at the end of the year. Where do you fall? Where I was originally, that he should be a reliever because the injuries matter. Though you can't just be like, yeah, well, in that 1 month, he was a really good starter. Okay, yeah, but at what cost?
The cost of his health, right? And like that's ended up playing there. But I think at that time we didn't know. We didn't know the body folded though. At that time, the question of whether he could handle a starter workload was up in the air. And I'd argue, I bet the Red Sox say it's still up in the air.
It's not because he's in the bullpen
right now. But do I think they are 100% sold?
How fucking stupid would they look to run it back next year and be like, let's try it again. Let's do this. And then if he breaks down again, they're like, oh, let's put him back in the box. Like, just fucking pick a side. pick a side.
I
and
agree.
stick to it.
I agree that you need to pick a side here. And I think the 2 injuries, as I said, your elbow barks twice in 3 months with not much of a workload. That kind of tells you. But they would have ruled it out, right? Did they come out and say, hey, Whitlock's going to be a reliever moving forward? No, we're going to put him in the bullpen for the rest of the year, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, because they want like plausible deniability. Like if they ever want to put him back in the rotation, well, we didn't say he was going to be a reliever. It's like, yeah, but you put him in the bullpen. Like that's what you do with relievers, no?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason they're hedging their bet and saying, we don't want this guy to get hurt again. We need him for the stretch run. All I'm saying is, Jared, you, along with a lot of other people, were tipping your cap and saying, all right, Garrett Whitlock's a starter. The injury happened. It changed everything. But it was always whether his body could handle it. And
he can't.
As we saw, so far, no, he hasn't. And if this keeps him healthy and keeps Garrett Whitlock looking like this, I can accept it. Go pay starters over the offseason. Cutter has taken a step forward this year. You'll be just fine.
You will be just fine. I'm just saying, he should have been a reliever the whole time.
As someone who kept their side and was consistent, I can tip my cap and say, as someone who thought he was going to be a starter, I was wrong.
It's good to be correct on that one.
Yeah, I wish you could relate to that.
Yeah, it's good to be correct. Good to be the guy that was like not Tanner Houck. Garrett Whitlock should be a reliever.
Flip, flop, flip, flop.
Ended up right back in the bullpen where I said he should have been all along.
All along. That's not correct.
Said he should have been there all along. Since day one.
Accountability, Jared.
Acknowledge me.
Not acknowledging. You had a tweet about Whitlock. I'm going to find it right now.
Go ahead and find it. This MLB season, you can turn every Red Sox win into a win for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Join me in our efforts to strike out cancer by pledging a donation to the Jimmy Fund for each Red Sox win this year. Sign up today and DraftKings will match each donation up to $25,000 total. Every dollar makes a difference in the lives of cancer patients and their families in Boston and around the world. Visit pledgeit.org/JimmyFund to make your pledge today. That is pledgeit.org/JimmyFund to make your pledge today. Did you find the tweet?
No, because too many people. It's there. Someone will find it.
You're trying to slander me?
No, but we can all acknowledge that you were on the Whitlock starter train at one point.
No.
Yeah.
I said he had a good month.
You look back now and you say that, but during that stretch, you were like, Garrett Whitlock's a starter. Like, yeah, I'm seeing it. I get it.
I didn't say that. I definitely
you did.
No. I didn't. I definitely didn't concede and say like, Tyler, you win. I was wrong. You should have been.
It was a whole thing.
No, I was probably like, oh yeah, good start, dude, for a reliever.
Fucking spare me, dude.
It's a good start.
Fuck
for a
you
reliever.
and that ugly shirt.
You're an ugly shirt.
Fuck you.
You even know what shirt this is?
No, but it's ugly.
No, it's not.
Jake, do you recall anything that resembled what I am claiming?
Nah, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, you're just making shit up, dude. Stupid.
It's my villain origin story right here. Remember this moment when Tyler Milliken loses his mind. It all started.
Tyler Milliken.
All right, that was just mean. That was uncalled for.
That's what you sound like, dude.
Fuck you.
Wow. It's kind of messed up. Anyways. Yeah, I said last episode that this was like the least anticipated Chris Sale return of all time, but I think Chris Sale felt that too. Where coming back at the beginning of this year, it's like, man, like finally, like I'm back. Like there was hype around it and there was also anticipation and excitement and all that. This time, I feel like he's just like as frustrated as everyone else. And like he feels the same, like, all right, like let's just air it out and see what happens. Like, fuck it. And I think he went out there with the same energy that the fans probably felt about the whole situation where, you know, how many times can you have a surprise return? And it's like, all right, let me just go out there and fucking pitch. Like enough of this, like welcome back bullshit. I'm just going to go out there and be Chris Sale. And he went out there and he was Chris Sale. And it was a lot of fun to watch. Like it was very exciting. Like seeing him pump 95 and, the slider. It was, I don't want to call it a vintage Chris Sale performance, but there were definitely spurts of like, yep. Like if we can just keep this dude healthy, he is going to be able to help us out. And that's a wonderful feeling. Because I remember, what was his first start against Baltimore this year?
Yeah, where it was just so
Gave up,
ugly.
like 5 home runs. Yeah, it was bad. Like that was what I was just dreading, was like, please don't let there be this like 1 month build up to get the old Chris Sale back. Like, let me just get out of the chute, throw in seeds, and I mean, the swing and miss was great. He's punching dudes out. 7 strikeouts, 4 2/3. Like, yeah, sign me up for that 10 times out of 10. The Trevor Story return, like I said before, that gives you more stability. And to the question of what is this team's identity, it's like, how could you even have the opportunity to have an identity when you could make the case. It is August 13th and the Red Sox just played their first series with their intended roster for the first time.
It's true. That's as close to it, and you're still going to get Tanner Houck.
Yeah, you don't even have Tanner Houck back yet. Yeah. You've got Garrett Whitlock in the bullpen where he belongs. You've got Trevor Story playing shortstop. You've got Chris Sale punching guys out. And yeah, I'll do respect to Tanner Houck, but you can make the case that you just played your first series as your intended true roster just now.
Jared, I think you could argue this is the first time in 2 years that you've done that, right? Like last year you lose Chris Sale, and by the time he comes back, Story goes down, and then Sale gets smashed his finger into a million pieces. You never got to that point last year. That was the hardest pill to swallow. The team that Heimblum envisioned, just from a health standpoint, never got to take the field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now this year, this is by far the closest you've been to it. And, like you said, no disrespect to Tanner Houck, he factors in here, but this is going to be as close as you can get. And, Mondesi never made it back. We found out about Joely Rodriguez today, probably not making it back this year. Still, this is the closest we've seen to a fully healthy Heimblum roster getting its shot since 2021.
Yeah. And that team made the playoffs. I don't know if you remember that.
Fucking fantastic year.
Yeah. Jake, where are you at on the Red Sox making the playoffs this year?
I mean, it did look really doom and gloom after the Blue Jay series, but I feel like overall going 5-5 in that homestand was not ideal, but only being 3 games out, we're pretty lucky to be in that spot. And Trevor Story and Chris Sale coming back, like, you don't want to rely on them and be like, oh, we picked up 2 unreal guys at the deadline, but they did look good this weekend. So it gives me a little bit of hope. I probably lean more towards the 20% side too.
Yeah. And that's why I made sure to note that normally I do think it's bullshit when a team is getting players back from the injured list around the time of the deadline and you try to sell the fan base on, well, we don't need to do anything at the deadline because we're getting these guys back. 98% of the time, that is bullshit. But in the case of the Boston Red Sox, how many teams were getting back a frontline ace quality starter and they're, I don't want to say franchise shortstop, but like, dudes that get paid $150 million to play a premier position usually don't suck at baseball. So getting that guy back and an elite reliever back into the bullpen guy and Garrett Whitlock, how many teams were getting that back? Nobody, not even close. Like, I don't think anyone was getting anything close to that back. And it feels like that's the Red Sox case every year, that it's like, oh man, just got to hang in there until Chris Sale gets back. But this year felt different, because I think for the longest time, we were kind of just looking at Sale's elbow as a ticking time bomb. And then he finally gets to Tommy John. It's like, all right, now we go. Like, the worst has happened. Like, we've endured the worst. Like, now we can finally get back to being Chris Sale again. And then you run into some shoulder issues this year, which thank God didn't cost him his entire season, because that's what it felt like. And that's what I tweeted about Chris Sale on Friday night was, listen, I don't know how tonight's going to go. I don't know how the rest of his season is going to go, but I'm just going to sit back and enjoy watching Chris Sale while we have him, because I feel like ever since the 2018 World Series, more or less the entire conversation around Chris Sale has been, when is he coming back? And then when he does come back, it's how long is he going to be back for? That's been the Chris Sale conversation, mixed in with some velocity talk, because everyone is radar gun watching when Chris Sale's out there pitching. So I just sat back and enjoyed it. And I feel like whatever, 4 2/3, like, you look at it being a starter going 4 2/3, more often than not, you're going to be disappointed with that. You'd be like, 4 2/3. What the fuck is that? Chris Sale's first start since June 1st, 7 strikeouts, perfect through 4. I very much enjoyed watching Chris Sale take the ball. And I do think, knock on wood, that if the Red Sox do make the playoffs, especially now, I hate to say it, with Brian Bello taking that step back, they needed someone to step up in that rotation. And I think we've probably seen the best that we're going to get from James Paxton. Who the fuck else has the ability to step up in the way that Chris Sale does? Anybody? Nobody. So if you're going to get there, if you're going to be that 15 to 20%, you're going to get in, you're going to need Chris Sale healthy. For as many Red Sox fans or baseball fans, whoever, you want to roll your eyes at that. Oh, if he stays healthy, how many times have I heard that? Not falling for that again. Not saying you have to fall for it. I'm not saying that you have to believe that he's going to make every start the rest of the way. But I am saying that if the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs, he's more than likely going to have to make every single start the rest of the way.
More than fair. He is the wild card, and this is his chance. Like, you want to talk about you can rewrite your narrative in certain ways. Nothing's going to go away from the injury history. But if you could somehow put this team on your back, Chris Sale, do you want to be the guy that, was spoken about so much before? Someone who could just put a team on his back when they needed him most, be the ace, that old school dog. And there's limitations. They're going to be careful with him. He's on a pitch count for a reason. Obviously, they kind of rushed him back so we could use these bullets while he has them. Who knows how long they'll last? We saw the stuff was fluctuating a bit even before he got injured early this year. He hasn't pitched consistently in a long time outside of the first 2 months of this year. There's going to be some bumps. But wow, what a way it would be if Chris Sale could be the main reason this Red Sox team makes the playoffs. Talk about winning people over, winning people back doesn't erase the fears or anything. But holy shit, what a nice little closing chapter that would be, maybe to an era of his career that will be the darkest. And he can go on a run for a couple years. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but in his head, this is your shot. You could be the needle in this arm this team has been begging for and waiting for. Be the ace.
I do have concerns about Bello, though, for being honest. Like the strikeouts per 9 doesn't concern me. It's the home runs. It's the home runs. It's the hard hits. I know that there's definitely some concerns for the lack of strikeouts as it pertains to Bello, but I mean, he's smart. Like if your mindset is I don't need to strike everyone out to get through outings, okay, but then don't get your tits lit, because that's been what his issue in recent outings. Kind of going back to that start against Oakland, right? In Oakland,
yeah, coming out of the All-Star break, right?
Yeah, that start in Oakland where it's like he starts giving up all these home runs, and it's like, well, yeah, like I don't need you to. And I see these people on Twitter being like, oh, well, yeah, so he's going to be the next Pedro. You guys said he was going to. No one said he was going to be the next Pedro. We just said he worked with Pedro and he got better because of it. There's a big difference between the next Pedro, which there's never going to be a next Pedro, and a guy that worked with Pedro and got better because he learned from one of the best of all time. But with Brian Bello, for me, the concern is the home runs, the hard hit contact. I don't need the strikeouts to be through the roof. Like, it's nice when they come, but not necessary for me. I just think he's got to change something. He's got to change something because the way that he's been getting hit is not. It's very discouraging. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm not overly discouraged one way or the other. This is a young pitcher trying to figure it out, working through his first full big league season. It's going to wear on him. They know he's going to have to hold this kind of workload. It was 152 innings last season. He's already at 119. They're skipping him. They probably know he's feeling it. Alex Cora said it himself. Like, yeah,
but
at this point in the year,
isn't that a concern when he kind of is being babied and he still is kind of?
No, because I think it's his first full big league season. Like, there was an expectation, and we can go back to the beginning of the year when we were having these conversations that, yeah, it's a workload thing, like kind of getting to that point. And I think we're going to see Bello figure it out and get a little bit back on track. He's a lot better than this pitcher. I do think the K per 9 needs to be a bit better. It was like 7.8 if you look between really May 1st and the end of June when he was on that ridiculous run, it's come down. And if you're talking about limiting homers, you need to kind of limit some contact there, because he's been hit hard this season. If you look at the Baseball Savant page, he does get squared up. And there was some regression due, as we talked about the FIP being a bit higher than the ERA was over the course of the year. But I expected these growing pains at some point. I thought anyone who thought Bello was just going to dominate the entire year and there wasn't going to be a growing period, there's a reason for the cutter being introduced. And it just really, so far, hasn't done much for him. The breaking ball needs to be better. He needs something else to get out, guys, because right now, they're kind of sitting on what he's doing. He needs to make that next adjustment. I expect Brayan Bello to do so. But that's the ups and downs of a young pitcher trying to figure it out in his first full big league season. I don't look at Bello and say my ceiling for him has changed or anything like that. It's just, this is part of the experience of depending on young players this much.
Yeah. Final line on Brayan Bello was 4 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned, did not walk anybody, punched out 5, gave up 2 bombs. So I'm surprised to see that he has a sub 4.
He's been those first 2 months were so ridiculous. And still, the ERA, despite it being in the low 2s, mid 2s, it was always in the mid 3. The FIP for this year is over 4, I believe, at this point. But you look at it, his hard hit percentage is 12%. So that's where it's kind of getting you, or 12 percentile. Average exit velocity, 29th percentile. So that speaks to the ball coming off the bat.
The FIP is about a 4.5.
Yeah, I think that's a little high because the type of pitcher he isn't going to strike out a ton. That's part of his identity. It's just you need to get closer to where you were those first couple months of the season. And there's an adjustment also happening across the big leagues. You need something, whether it's that cutter against lefties or that breaking ball, that slider that has been hit hard this year. You need to take another step forward in that department.
Yeah. Got to give a shout out to Murph. In that sale start. 3 innings, 3 hitless shutout innings. Did walk a couple, but punched out 4. First big league save. This is a guy that just fell into the Red Sox lap. Was moved into the bullpen down in AAA, correct?
Yep, right before he got called up.
Yeah, was a starter, was not pitching well for the Woo Sox, got moved to the bullpen, got called up to the big leagues, and then once he got here, he has been, I don't want to say lights out, but he has been a big piece of what the Red Sox have had going on. If you want to talk about Nick Pivetta being a guy that took on a new role for the betterment of the team and has excelled in that role and deserves all the credit in the world, Chris Murphy's the other guy. Chris Murphy's another dude where it's there's no ego there. With Pivetta, there was obviously a ton of ego. Let's face it. They told him to go to the bullpen and he gave a whole spiel about, I'm not doing it. I'm a starter. I'm going to be a starter. I've been a starter. I'm going to be a starter next year. He gave a whole starter speech and then he came out of the bullpen in his next appearance. With Murph, it was I'll do anything the team asked me to do because who am I? I just got called up. I'm a rookie. I'm making my big league debut. Whatever spot you have for me, happy to take it. Happy to do my best in that role. And he's been outstanding in that role. I feel he's we talk about unsung heroes. Chris Martin, we mentioned in that conversation, but Chris Murphy doesn't have the same I guess workload as everyone else, but should definitely be in the conversation for one of those guys.
33 innings this year, 33 2/3, 294 ERA, 335 FIP. It's half a regular relief season. Now he's working in a bulk role, which you can argue is even maybe not what was best suited for him when he first came up here in a lot of people's eyes, where, hey, you just move this guy to the bullpen. Should he really be going 3, 4, maybe 5 innings at certain points? It was pushing it, but he adapted to the role. He's adapted to it in every way, and it doesn't matter where they use him. And with Joely Rodriguez going down now, Chris Murphy, it's him and Brendan Bernardino as the lefties. Those are the guys you're going to be leaning on this bullpen. I think it was fair to question what would happen to Murphy. Some people were saying, do you option him so he can keep building up down in AAA? And you always have that option. He's pretty much here to stay at this point. I don't really see another way for it to kind of play out in that bullpen. But yeah, I think he deserves as much credit as anyone because he was the guy that got no attention before this season. As a prospect guy, hand up, Chris Murphy was behind Brandon Walter and Brian Mata. If you had, betting money, I would have told you Brian Mata would have been in this bullpen by now, making an impact. Brandon Walter, couple starts here and there, and he was good when he came up for his short burst as well. But Chris Murphy, a savior for this team this year, and kind of an example of why just because a guy doesn't work out as a starter in the minor leagues, you shouldn't write him off. You shouldn't throw him to the curb. Lefty, you have some velocity, got a good breaking ball, you can stick in this league. That's kind of what it is, and Chris Murphy is that guy. Hopefully, am I curious if this is going to be a long-term thing? Can I depend on Chris Murphy to be a relief ace for the next 5 years? I'm not sure, but these signs so far, this is another weapon you put in your bullpen.
We love Murph. Good dude. Good dude, like Murph.
The senator, there's a senator named Chris Murphy. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, he tweeted that he was pumped he got called up when Murph got called up.
Yeah, he quote tweeted me the other day and is still just rooting the guy on. He has a senator living vicariously through him. So interesting.
Did you say bi-curiously?
Isn't that what the word is?
No, that means that you're like curious about being bisexual. You meant vicariously with a V.
It's a V.
Yeah. If I'm living vicariously,
there's no way that's the right one either.
It is. If I'm living vicariously through you, then I'm trying to enjoy your life experiences as if they were my own. But bi-curious means I don't know if I'm gay. I like girls, but I might be gay and I'm kind of bi-curious. Mm-hmm. That's what that means. Life lesson.
Fair point. I did just type it in. That is correct. Jake, cut this out.
No shit.
Please cut this out.
The senator was trying to live vicariously through Chris Murphy, the pitcher.
Listen, Chris Murphy, the pitcher, is a good-looking dude.
Yeah, he is.
Chris Murphy, the senator, please do not arrest me. Do not send people for me. I'm not making any accusations. I support you. Or I don't know if I support you. I don't know what his politics are. I acknowledge you.
It's crazy that you've gotten to where you are in life with how limited.
That's a common word people fuck up.
Bi-curious and vicariously?
Yeah.
Jake, did you know what vicariously meant?
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Yeah, nothing's coming up for vicariously here. I don't even know what I said.
I mean, bi-curious is a word. For sure.
I support the bi-curious people of America.
Yeah. When I watch Tyler Glasnow pitch, I'm a little bi-curious.
More than a little.
Yeah. More than a little. Right. So that's what that is.
I feel like a lot of people are going to be tweeting this at me this week.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Probably forever, honestly. I'd love to bet on the number of people that tweeted Tyler about this. You can make some UFC bets on DraftKings Sportsbook. A bantamweight battle for the belt is going down during UFC 292. I don't know how to say that guy's name. Al-Hamain? Al-Hamain? Is that how you say it? You don't know, Tyler. You don't know shit.
No.
Sterling and Sean O'Malley, that one's easy, will fight for the title this Saturday. Will the current champ keep his crown? Or is it the challenger's time to shine? Get your bets in on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. New customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance, opt-in, and 10-plus leg requirement for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Every time that I bet Matt Olson to hit a home run, he doesn't, and then he hits one the next day. It's infuriating. That happened to me, I bet him Friday, and he hit 2 the next day. Crazy.
For a guy who hits 50 homers in a year, or is going to hit 50 homers in a year, you're not able to somehow predict it one time.
He might be able to do it. He might be able to hit 60. Anyway.
42 through 116 right now.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Jared, Jared. New customers can bet just $5 on UFC 292 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's this Saturday only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Jared. All right. Actually, you know what? Before we do Clark's Ketchup, I didn't go on Friday. I know people were asking. I didn't see Eddie. Did not go.
Wow. Did you try and it didn't work, or was it just more like I'm punting?
Punting.
He looked happy. He looked like it made me feel good to see Eddie so happy back at Fenway. And they did the whole thing on the big screen or whatever it was. But I don't know. It was nice to see Alex Cora, who still always has that little maturity thing he needs to add. Did you hear that on Peacock today?
No.
Alex Cora said, yeah, he seems like he's matured a lot since he left here, which still is always kind of similar to Verdugo, the constant theme when Alex Cora talks about Eduardo Rodriguez. But I don't know. Obviously, Eddie didn't have the exact day he wanted here, but it was cool to see Red Sox fans acknowledge him, and he looked happy overall. Did you text him?
I talked to him, but not obviously not today. I don't talk to guys on their start days. That's why it was such a surprise. Like in my life, there's been maybe two starters that I've talked to on their start days. And Eddie was one of them, just not today. But yeah, it was cool to see him back. It would have been cool to actually be there, but that's our fuck up. That's my fuck up. You want to say I'm not accountable? That's accountability right there.
First time I've heard that all podcast.
What happened to Bullet?
He died.
Wait till you end up like him.
Is that a threat?
No, it wasn't. Someone went through my Facebook the other day. I can't even remember who it was. They found a picture of my last dog, Buffy, and they photoshopped Buffy in front of a car on a highway, thinking it was either Sam or that it was Bullet. And I clicked on it. It was like the littlest picture of little Buffy, and it traumatized me a little bit. Little Buffalo tender
too, or
yeah, Buffy died.
How did you do that one?
Heart disease.
Is that what that's the toxicology report said?
That's what they did during the autopsy.
Oh. It's a little suspicious. I feel like the police don't often look into mysterious dog deaths like they should, especially in your house.
Maybe I'm on a list or something like that. Maybe that's why they are doing these things.
If you were you're definitely on a list now.
With dogs, not humans.
All right. I'm gonna be in your town on Wednesday.
Why?
I'm gonna be at the Savannah Bananas.
Oh,
yeah.
You'll be right over at Campanelli Stadium.
That's where I'm gonna be.
Hell of a ballpark. You been there before?
Have I been to Brockton? No.
Oh, Jesus. You don't have to talk about it like that. The city of champions.
It's Brockton. Do you guys
it's
even
a great
have food
city
there? What? No.
Food?
Yeah.
Do I look well fed?
You look good.
Thank you. I'm eating good. But no, Brockton in that side of the city as well. You're on the west side. That is a safer location. If they're going to bring the Savannah Bananas, David Ortiz's kid was playing for the Rocks, Manny, Pedro, Keith Folk, all these guys. You think it's that dangerous?
Yes.
Spring your security.
Spring my security?
Bring your security.
Oh, I thought you said, okay. I heard you say spring.
Do they have you doing anything for the game?
Yeah, I'm doing an episode for Like a Pro on Nesson 360. Fucking Nesson 360.
But you're not going to have like a moment in this game. Like they're not going to incorporate you with like a fire bat. What?
Actually, I am. Funny you mention that. I think I am doing the fire bat. Yes.
You're going to hit with it?
Yes.
Oh, this is amazing.
That's what I've been told.
I've always wondered how that feels when you're holding it.
Every time I ever swing a bat, it feels like it's on fire.
I don't know if you played. You're on the older side here. Jake, I don't even know if Jake might have played this. MLB Slugfest back in the day. You play MLB Slugfest? Manny Ramirez on the fucking cover.
You asked me if I played MLB Slugfest. Like that's like a
Jake,
like an older fan, like a younger fans only played that.
No, but that might branch into the end of your early adulthood.
No, like the fucking like NFL Blitz came out in like the 90s, and I had that. Like MLB Slugfest came out at the same time.
I thought Slugfest was like early 2000s.
I mean, I was in fucking middle school in the early 2000s. How old do you think I am?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You weren't. Early 2000s.
Yeah.
You were born
I was in 7th grade for 9/11.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you are closer.
Yeah,
you're in the ballpark.
Idiot.
Well, you're the fucking idiot because...
No, I'm not.
Slugfest came out in 03, 04. The one I played was 06.
Okay.
Manny on the cover. Pedro with the Mets. Who else we got here? Vlad Guerrero, Albert Pujols. Is that Jason Giambi? I can't see. Very small pitcher. Not on this one. I think he was one of the earlier ones. But on MLB Slugfest, you'd get hot in the bat. Remember? It would fucking inflame, and it was like an auto homer.
Yeah.
One of the funnest baseball games. It was kind of like Blitz the League, though. It was similar.
Yeah. I played NFL Blitz all the time. The bomb.
You could do steroids in that game, right?
NFL Blitz?
Right?
What are you talking about?
Wait, are we talking about different games?
Definitely.
Hold on. Blitz the League. That was a real thing, and you could do like illegal things in that game.
I mean, you could do illegal things in NFL Blitz, but not steroids. NFL Blitz, like, I would always, like, goal line on defense, and the bomb was the play you'd run every time.
Here we go. Yeah, Blitz the League too. You could juice in the game with performance enhancers, especially if you had an injury. Hold on here.
What
was the name of it? It wasn't EA. Hold on.
Clearly not. They would
Midway Chicago, Midway Games.
What the hell?
And the name of the drug is trilofafine.
Okay.
And you could just inject your players with them and see where it took you.
So it was.
I think that's why they stopped making them. What'd you say?
It was implied that it was steroids, or it was actually steroids?
It was actually steroids.
Huh?
I'm reading the Wikipedia page right now. I don't think you could take steroids in MLB Slugfest. It was just like MLB on crack. You could punch people.
Of course you couldn't take steroids.
That would be fun. Put that option in my player.
That's nuts. Yeah, NFL Blitz was the shit. MLB Slugfest, great game. They need to bring that back. That was good shit. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do the Flaming Bats for the Savannah Bananas on Wednesday.
I wonder, are their tickets open?
I doubt it. They sell out like forever in advance.
Yeah. I'll just sit in the parking lot and I'll listen to them announce your name.
Yeah, please do.
You'll be right across from the legendary Brockton Fair, where Tyler Milliken had his first kiss back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's where people talk about the game. Tyler Milliken, the Rizzler, right? Like everyone's talking about that. Everyone's talking about it these days.
Yeah.
That's where it started. It was actually one of the most embarrassing days ever, and I don't mind telling the story now. I don't do well in amusement parks, right?
Okay.
I love a water park. You put me on water slides, I don't feel sick or anything. You put me in an amusement park, I am puking, bro. Like 2 rides in, I am cooked. You know those spinny rides where you like lean on the back?
Yeah. Turkish twist.
Is that what it was called at your local fair? I think we called it like the Diamond or something like that.
Okay, stupid name, but go ahead.
So I would lay back, and I used to think I was like athletic, so I'd like be the guy trying to like flip around, and it was fucking with me. And I was on my first date. I won't say her name. Very nice lady. She's married now.
She's married.
Yeah, she's living her whole life.
Good for her.
But I was doing my thing, and as I flipped over, I started to felt a little off. I had a very good lunch that day. I wanted to feel high energy for this date.
Was that different from other days?
Yeah, this was an extra eating day. Okay. Maybe it was a 20 nugget day instead of a 10 nugget day.
All right.
Get off the ride. I'm feeling a little wonky, but I'm on a date. It's a double date. So I'm trying to, play it cool. The other dude's feeling himself. He's cool, like whatever. We go on the next ride called the Avalanche.
Oh no.
And it's like it's like that 360 one, but like everyone sits on the front and you put like the locks on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
So we start spinning and the chick's next to me. She's on my left side, right? There's a stranger to my right side. The first time we did the up and down, I felt like, oh no, I'm going to throw up. So, I wanted to have my first kiss. So in my head, I was like, if I puke, I'm never getting this first kiss, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to be really slick here if I'm about to puke. So I put my hand, you see this, like I did like a circle here, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just start puking into my mid-ride as it's going up and down. I don't know if out of embarrassment she didn't say anything, but nothing happened after that, right? So like I get off the ride. I'm like, I'll be right back as the puke's like all over my hand. And then I just start puking my brains out in the bathroom and I come out. I was cool after that.
That was cool.
I put hand sanitizer in my mouth because it was the only thing that was there.
What are you doing?
Bro, I didn't have any gum. How else are you going to cleanse your palate?
I didn't have any gum, so I just drank 100% rubbing alcohol.
I spit it out. I didn't swallow it.
Dude.
I just like swished it around for a second.
How did you not puke from that?
I just had puke in my mouth. It wasn't that bad. The hand sanitizer tastes better than puke.
You put hand sanitizer in your mouth?
Yeah, just a tad, a little bit of it. Just, it didn't burn too much or anything. Come out of the bathroom. I'm like, all right, like she didn't say anything. It probably went over kind of well. After that, I was done with the rides. I was like, I'm going to tap out. But at the end of the night, when the fireworks happened, the Milliken magic still happened, baby. Yeah. So it was a good day for 6th grade Tyler Milliken.
So you guys kissed after?
Yeah, the awful look for her. I feel really bad for her, but
yeah,
T-Dog hit.
T-Dog. I think I did the opposite. I was at the movies with this girl, always wanted to kiss, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and we went to go see Joe Dirt, and she like left for like 20 minutes and during the movie, and I was like, did she like leave? And then she came back, and I was like, where the hell did you go? She was like, I had to throw up, and I was like, oh, all right. Anyways.
Oh, wait, you still pulled it off?
Yeah, obviously.
All right, I respect it, but you're a sick fuck.
I saw the Joe Dirt come out.
I saw a video of a dude making out with a chick the other day, and she puked in his mouth. Did you taste the puke particles while you? Was it like a French kiss, or were you just like?
No, yeah, there was definitely tongue. Yeah, there was definitely some shit in there. 2001, so that would have put me in 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot going on in 2001 for you.
A lot happening.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Was it a good kiss?
No. I think I probably used that as like a reference point for like the years afterward, being like, this is how it's not done.
I'll be honest. I did not go as far as you did. Mine was more of just a lip kind of thing.
Yeah. This was full on. Like, what do they call it? French kiss. They wouldn't say you made out. You'd be like, we French kissed.
Maybe I would have made it that far if I didn't. Or if I had a woman that was so understanding like you.
I mean,
I bet Martha would have still would have made out with me. Love you, babe.
Just the Tyler Milliken stories that we get on this podcast. They just never, like the fact that you just like sit on them for so long too.
It's just like
you wash your mouth out with fucking hand sanitizer.
What else do you do in that? Nothing is worse.
Fucking rinse it out with water. What are you talking about? You just
sure.
You wash your
puke
hands.
on the floor. I puke on the floor. Let me pour some water on it. All better. Oh yeah. Now it smells great in this room.
Poisoning yourself.
I spit it out.
Doesn't matter. You fucking, if you puke, you wash your hands, and then you just cup the water in your hand. You just rinse it, swish around, spit around, spit. Or you go get like a fucking soda and swish that around just to like change your breath. You wash your hands, you rinse your mouth out with water, you go get a soda, or an orange juice, something. Swish it around, get a different taste in your mouth, get a different smell going on, and then you roll with the punches. You don't fucking drink rubbing alcohol.
You're saying all this like my brain was fully developed. I was 12.
I'm not even
maybe
sure
13.
Like you're defending it in a way that if this happened today, you wouldn't change a thing about it.
I just maybe I would get a drink or something like that. But if you're talking about the cleanliest way to go about it is hand sanitizer.
Definitely not.
I don't feel like you respect my game right now.
No, I don't. I respect the fact that like you didn't like call for a ride and like try to leave.
Oh no.
Like you hung in there.
Well, I had talked a lot of shit per usual leading up to it. That
tonight's the night I'm getting my first kiss.
Like I'm about to fucking light it up at the fair, dog. I've seen all those movies.
I'm about to light it up at the fair, dog.
I've seen all those movies where guys pull the moves, and like I remember me and my buddies, we were practicing, we were talking. I wasn't making out with them. Want to make that clear. But we were discussing how to go about it. You know, which moves are you going to pull? And I felt like I owed it to them to pull the moves off.
Well, I'm proud of you.
So think of when you see the Brockton Fair, they just knocked the entire fairgrounds down the other day. So when you see it on Thursday, think of me. Or Wednesday.
I will. Is there a plaque?
The bathroom unit is still there, actually. It's right across from the CVS. They didn't knock that down.
Okay. That's just history. That's Milliken history.
Oh, yeah. And it was, what do you call that thing where you piss, but it's into a bucket there?
A trough?
It used to be the trough. It was a trough. So there was a bunch of people probably with their just dicks in their hands looking at me. Trying to swallow hand sanitizer. I've lived a hard life.
There's a bunch of people with their dicks in their hands looking at a young Tyler Milliken trying to swallow hand sanitizer so he can get his first kiss.
I was about it. Never questioned my commitment.
Man. I don't think I've talked to my first kiss since like freshman year of high school.
Yeah, usually those early moments are so traumatic. You kind of got to let those moments live with those people.
Well, I mean, I was in 5th grade. Like we were both in 5th grade. So you have to figure like a lot of the people that you meet when you're that young, they don't always turn out to be people that you want to associate with later in life.
That's true. Brockton, that's very true.
Yeah, like I think I dated a girl in 5th grade that ended up like on Jerry Springer.
For what?
Let's just say she made a lot of wrong choices in life.
Oh my God. Did she still look good when she was on Jerry Springer, or was she like cooked?
No,
she was cooked.
She was absolutely cooked.
That's part of the experience. So, like, no offense to the person I had my first kiss with, but definitely not someone I'd want to be with today.
Right.
You know, they've gone down their own interesting path.
Because no one's better than Martha.
Nobody.
Right.
Speaking of Martha, couple listeners got to meet Martha over yesterday.
Yes.
So I was around the Fenway area.
Okay.
And you might have to cut this out as I say it because, you don't live there anymore. So can I refer to where you used to live?
Yeah. I live there.
Okay. So I went to go see 5 Seconds of Summer yesterday for Martha's birthday. That was my gift to her. And I was like, we'll eat at some place, Trefaloni's or something. You ever heard of it?
No.
The pizza spot?
No.
Very good. I'm walking and I'm like, hey, Martha, you see up there? That's like where Jared used to live, right? When I went and did the live stream, someone goes, oh, Tyler. And I was like, huh? And like, my eyes a little fucked up right now. I'd had a lot of alcoholic beverages while I was out to dinner because I knew I was going to be standing for a while. I wanted to be loose.
Yeah.
And he was a big fan of the pod. Shout out him. And I introduced him. I was like, oh, this is my girlfriend, Martha. Like, how you doing? And he was just saying, rest in peace, Bullet, all these things. I go into the concert. Bro, I swear to God, a lot of guys in my similar situation with their girlfriend doing the whole thing. Most I've ever been recognized for the podcast out of anywhere. And I was at Fenway a week ago. I think I got recognized 2 or 3 times, 5 or 6 during the concert at different moments. Whether I was one time in the bathroom, a couple times out on like the general admission floor, just people come up and saying what's up. So if you are a Name Redacted fan, I expect to see you at a 5 Seconds of Summer concert.
A lot of people looking at you with their dicks in their hands, Tyler.
While I'm swishing fluids in my mouth, yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yes, dude, there's no, everyone knows the
Oh.
song that came out like 10 years ago.
Why did you fucking go see a band that had like one hit 10 years ago?
They're very popular amongst the women. They're still popular today. But I know
What's the
the
song
OG
called?
song. You look so perfect
What's it
standing
called?
there. I don't know the name of it. Hold on. I'll type it into Google.
Remember the words you told me, love me.
The song?
That's not. No.
Oh, I know this song.
That's a big one, though. She looks so perfect. Yeah.
The song?
Yeah. Yep.
Never heard that song in my life. But
You got to let the chorus hit.
No.
Oh, my God, dude. It is somewhat of a banger.
I know.
Remember the words you told me, love me till the day I die.
I've heard
Yeah,
this.
that's a
song.
more recent one.
Is this like a TikTok song?
Might be. They're like Diet One Direction.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. They play this song at like fucking stadiums now.
Yeah, they're like a Diet One Direction, right? Like, the boy band whole thing. It was cool, whatever. Martha loves it, so I'm there to support. But I was
What a
grooving.
great
I was
boyfriend you are.
A lot of boyfriends who were Red Sox fans were there.
Yeah.
I almost wore Red Sox gear. I had a couple outfits I was planning through, but I found something I liked a little more.
What's like the
Swag fit.
whenever people meet you, what's like the first question that they ask you?
So are you? Well, I was wearing my glasses, so people probably aren't used to seeing me with these on. So it was just a lot of like, "Are you Tyler?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, how you doing?" I always go for like the dap and the hug, like the "Hey, man, how you doing?" Comforting.
Why are you always touching people?
Oh, they always put their hand out, like it's respect. You know what I mean? Like you don't the fist pump, sure. In Brockton, you dap people up. That's more typical of culture around here. So I just dapped the dude up. We talked for a minute or two. I was like, oh, fucking Red Sox lost today. Yada, yada, yada. Got to win tomorrow. Little Sox talk. And hey, man, I'll see you. Nice meeting you and carry on.
Wow. So
I'm still very awkward and nervous when it happens. So I try to do it the right way.
You just hit him straight with the Sox talk then.
Yeah, it's something we're mutually connected on.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
People want Sox talk and you give it to them for free.
Yeah. Well, what do you say when someone usually comes up like, oh, like, what's your favorite thing to do when you're at home alone? Right? What do you talk about? You talk about the Sox. It's something we have in common.
I don't know. It depends on where we are. If we're at Fenway, I'll like ask them where they're sitting that night, ask them where they're from.
Yeah, that's weird to ask at a concert.
Well, yeah.
Like we're all standing on the floor, like, yada, yada, chilling, drinking or whatever. I don't know. I try to be welcoming.
Yeah. I'm always careful with what I say to people in those situations because like there's been a few times where like I've like met someone randomly at like a bar or something and then they'll ask me like a really personal question and I'll answer it because I'll be like, whatever, it's just me and you in a bar. And then next thing you know,
Personal.
yeah.
What can you describe a personal question you've been asked? You don't have to tell me the answer.
Be like, oh, what do you think about so-and-so?
Oh,
Be
okay.
like,
All right.
be like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, it's like on Reddit. Hey, I met Jared tonight. And he fucking said this, this, and this. It's like, it's no different than me like sending out a tweet about how I feel about somebody. You know what I mean? Not that I'm sure that there's people like, no, that never happened. But no, there's been times where that happened.
If you want to ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer it. I'm not scared to answer a question, but as I told Jake, one really cool dude that came over, one of the last ones, but I got a beer there. It was like warm as piss at this point, like halfway, but I was like, it was $13. I need to chug this. I refuse to waste the money on it. I chugged the beer. As I turn around, guy's like, hey man, like he had come over from his girlfriend or whatever to say what's up. My face is just like, I have like all the beer in my mouth and I'm trying to swallow it. I looked weird, but he was cool. He was chill about it. He didn't look at me funny. So shout out him.
You just feel like you're genuinely just always struggling in some way.
I'm an awkward human being, but I own it. That's who I am.
You're just always going through it.
Yeah. If life's an experience and if you're not getting beat up a little bit, you're not trying hard enough.
Every day is a battle. Life is a battlefield. Tyler Milliken.
I haven't won many battles, but I continue to fight.
No, yeah, exactly. You're still here.
For now.
Speaking of battles.
Ketchup Series MVP. Series MVP.
The Clark's Ketchup Series MVP brought to you by Clark's Ketchup. Drizzle that ketchup. Holy fuck. Did you see this fucking Yankees score?
What's the score? No, I did not.
Bro, they gave up 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th to lose. Holy shit.
Wow. I'm telling you, that Red Sox 4th place in the AL East, man, give it to me. Erase those last place conversations.
Holy fuck. They had Oh my God.
I need to drink these tears. Hey, you know what you have to do.
Yeah, I gotta post the Yankees lose video.
Really feel for Garrett Cole today. Real shame.
That's actually insane. The Yankees
6 innings, 2 earned. God help them.
The Yankees were winning. Let's see, what is the math here? They were winning 7-3. The Yankees were winning 7-3 The Yankees were winning 7-3 going into the bottom of the 9th. Just time to shut it down.
Oh my God. Yankees have not won a series since July 22nd against the Royals. I know the Red Sox have been up and down, but man, it could be worse.
Yeah, the Yankees absolutely just they're an abomination. They're an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment is what they are.
Just checking in now, the same distance between the Red Sox and the Mariners right now, 3-1. The Yankees are now 2 games back of the Red Sox in the wild card standings.
Yeah, it's over.
Dude, their run differential's +1.
The Yankees?
Yeah, Red Sox are +29. The Mariners are +60.
Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It's embarrassing. Anyways, the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. Brought to you by Clark's Ketchup. Drizzle that ketchup. I have a feeling I think I know who's going to win, but I don't know. All right, let's go over some numbers here. Leading the way in batting average this series. A lot of guys played 2 games, so I'm gonna allow it. Being eligible if you play 2 games. Verdugo played 2 games. Urias played 2 games. Devers played 2 games. Turner played 2 games. Story played 2 games. So if you played 2, you're still eligible. Leading the way with a 750 batting average, that would be Trevor Story. Leading the way with a 750 on base percentage, that's Trevor Story. An 1125 slugging percentage. That's Trevor Story. An 1875 OPS. That also belongs to Trevor Story. An 804 weighted on base average. That belongs to Trevor Story. Leading the way with 6 hits. That's Trevor Story. Turner with 4. Doubles. Trevor Story had 3. No one else had 1. No one else had a double in this series. Trevor Story had 3. Home runs. Justin Turner had 2. Duvall 1. Casas 1. Runs scored. Justin Turner had 3. Trevor Story had 3. Casas had 2. RBI. Adam Duvall with 4. Tristan Casas with 3. Justin Turner with 2. Connor Wong with 2. In my head, I was like, why am I going to call him Colton Wong right now? Stolen bases. Trevor Story had 3. Connor Wong had 1. Extra base hits. Trevor Story 3. Justin Turner 2. Total bases. Justin Turner 10. Trevor Story 9. Okay. Now, we put it to a vote. It's as simple as that.
We have all our submissions?
We have all of our submissions for the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. Coming in first, Loomer. Loomer Loney said, love home runs. Houses had a huge one in game 1. Turner with a couple solos. Duvall with a big one today. But I'm going Story. Ooh. Next up, we got TC, Tom Karen. And he says, Trevor Story. Finally. Kevin Euclid. No submission from Mr. Peacock himself.
The cock.
Jemai Webster says this one is tough. And though he missed a game, I do believe Trevor Story was the most impactful player in this series. And I said, I think that's the right call. He said, feels good to know that. Next up, we have our manager, AC, Alex Cora. You know who we voted for?
Who?
Murph.
Wow.
He voted for Murph. He did. He did. And last, actually no, Will Middlebrooks. Will Middlebrooks says, fuck it. Let me get Trev with the sauce. Another vote for Trevor Story. And then last, nope, Dave O'Brien. Dave O'Brien says, tough one. A few candidates. I think I'll go Kenley. Closer never gets any love. And then finally, the one you've all been waiting for.
Time to drizzle once again. And I got to be honest with you guys, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure here today as the kids run the bases at Fenway Park. Sox have just taken 2 of 3 from the Tigers. Pressure because I think this vote is more complicated than most this season. And I've heard so much about my potty mouth that I'm a little concerned that I've taken this a little too far. And I've made a decision that I'm only going to drop F-bombs on very special occasions. Okay. I'm going to take it easy. If there's a big dramatic winning play, somebody does something totally crazy, then we'll break out the real big bad curse words. But for now, we'll just get into my pick this week. And I could have easily gone with Tristan effing Casas, who had the big hit that certainly is the most important single swing in the series. Justin bleeping Turner. Seems like every day he's in there, he hits a home run. Chris effing Sale. I mean, you can tell he injects energy into this club in a way that very few other people do. I even thought about Kenley Jansen, who I think somehow flies under the radar this whole season. But in the end, I'm going to go with the guy who set the tone right out of the gates. A great defensive play. He's stealing bases all over the place. Legitimately great shortstop defense. 3 doubles, 2 steals. The Clark's Ketchup Series MVP is Trevor fucking Story.
Let's go!
Yes!
Fleming!
Thank you.
Trevor fucking Story! Wow. Just when you think that Will Fleming is going to go left, that's when he goes right. When you think he's going to zig, that's when he zags. The best Clark's Ketchup Series MVP voter in the history of the award. And that leaves it to us. I mean, it's pretty much a wrap on Trevor Story, right? I mean, I don't think that we can change the course of history here.
I'm right with you. I think it's clearly Trevor Story. When you look at, scored 2 of those runs in the very first game, had a bag in that game as well. Today, he impacted the game on both sides. That Riley Green play, as we saw the rest of that 8th inning, ended up being a much bigger deal in that moment than people realize. That cutoff throw is the reason you get him out at third. We don't got to talk about what he did at the plate, 4 for 4, the 2 stolen bases, creating runs himself. Like, once again, this is what this guy does to score on that Adam Duvall single. This is the athleticism you get excited about with Trevor Story. He can do it on just about every part of the game.
Jake?
I got Trevor Story too. It was pretty tight, but I feel like also first series back, you got a little juice for that. So yeah, Story.
Trevor Story returns to the Boston Red Sox. And what does he do? He immediately wins the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. Wow, what a statement. Coley's going to have to put out a statement after this because he's going to be pissed. Coley is going to be furious.
Did he vote?
No.
Wow.
I think it was a silent protest.
Well, if you go on his page, #1 Trevor Story supporter, so check in.
I think he's lying about that. I don't think he's really the #1 Trevor Story supporter.
Coley doesn't lie.
It's just something about him. Something about him makes me think he might not be telling the truth here.
He's fibbing?
I think he might be fibbing about his Trevor Story support.
I would hope not. I'd be very disappointed.
I would be too. I would be too. Was there a call of the series?
Did we do one last episode?
Pablo Reyes.
Right? Do we do one every episode?
No.
Trying to think off the top of my head if there's one that stood out.
I mean, if there's anyone listening from WEEI right now, definitely continue to submit Will Fleming calls too.
Please.
Because it's like if I'm watching on TV, sometimes it depends on where I am. I think like if I'm driving back from the sports hub, I'm listening to the game in the car. But I'm not always listening to the game in the car on the radio. So I want it to be equal. Like if there's a call, it can't just only be TV calls. It's got to be radio calls. And it could be cock calls too. By the way, whoever was doing the play-by-play on the cock today kept calling Tristan Casas Trevor Casas. Clean it up.
Multiple times. Like, no,
Multiple
one time I can be like, all right, I think he's an NHL guy. I was reading someone on Twitter talking about it. All right, that's part of it. I understand. Bro, to let it happen throughout the rest of the game. It's not like Tristan Casas is some bum dude.
Also,
like, we're talking about one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
Kevin Youkilis. You're
Yeah.
sitting right next to the guy. You got to be like, hey, man, just letting you know, you keep calling him Trevor. His name is fucking Tristan. Like, get in there, Youk. Stick up for our guy. His name's Tristan. Tristan Casas. So.
Big homer in that first game.
Huge homer.
Leads baseball in homer since the All-Star break.
You know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to try something that we've never done before.
Oh, no. Do you need me to make a call myself? Dog, you're like 0 for 8 recently.
People don't want to answer my calls.
Please leave your message.
Embarrassing. That's that Drake video. You guys see that?
No.
So good.
It's
Jake,
so
I know
good.
you saw it. Jake, you saw that video?
No.
Oh, come on. There's people who are listening who saw the video. His boy, he was like on a live stream and his boy's card got declined, and it was just the most Drake moment of all time.
Oh man, that's crazy. I can't believe I missed that.
Fuck you, dude. How about get someone to answer the phone? Who'd you call?
Who did I just call?
Yeah.
Someone that's never been on this podcast before.
Media person?
You could say that, I guess.
Wasn't Will.
Was not Will. I mean, Will's voice has been on this podcast.
Chad Jennings?
Chad Jennings.
I don't know. He's like our backup Cotillo, excuse me.
I like Chad Jennings a lot. But it wasn't Chad
Houck.
Jennings.
Do you try to call Houck?
No, that would have been funny though. If I was like, hey, you didn't vote for Clark's Ketchup and you didn't correct that broadcaster that kept calling Tristan Trevor. Thoughts?
Be better.
Yeah. Hey, Jake. In the meantime, while we're waiting for this person to call back, why don't you tell the good folks at home about Blue Moon? Could you do that?
Playoffs are just around the corner, so it's time to help your team out by sticking to your lucky rituals, like the ritual of enjoying an ice-cold Blue Moon while the game is on. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Make it your one-of-a-kind baseball tradition whether you're at the park or watching from home. I bet 12-year-old Tyler Milliken wanted to have a Blue Moon after that performance at the fair. I mean, he was telling his boys direct quote, "I'm about to light it up at the fair." And then he pukes all over himself on a ride and then starts drinking hand sanitizer. I don't know if anyone's ever lit it up at the fair less than that. I'm sure the first thing he did 9 years later when he turned 21 was have a Blue Moon to help him forget about that moment. Because with its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one-of-a-kind? Its bold flavor, bright color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Brighten up your baseball traditions with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for baseball merch and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you as always. All right. I mean, like, I don't know that there were any, like, we need, like, the call of the series has to be submitted. Like, it can't just be us being like, this is it.
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't
You
like
just responded. He said Trevor Story.
Oh,
That's a vote for Story from Kevin Youkilis.
thank you, Houck.
But that wasn't who I called.
And they could help with this decision of who's gonna have the call of the week.
No.
You're not even helping the problem.
No, but I am creating entertainment.
You're creating what?
Entertainment?
Sorry, I was listening to highlights. I'm trying to find one.
Oh, okay.
Trying to be a team player here. I don't know if there is one. There's definitely not one from the second game.
What was the what about the was the relay call good?
I just clicked on it and there's no audio to the video because they pulled it from a Peacock. But that was the one that stuck out in my head. I was like, oh, it was kind of like a really nice bang bang play. But at the same time, is it good for us to give love to the Peacock broadcast after the Tristan Casas thing?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Feels wrong.
Yeah. I thought you
I'm gonna vote.
great.
I'm voting for the Tristan Casas homer.
You're voting for the Tristan Casas homer? Do you even
Yep.
know what it sounds like?
Yeah, it was excellent. It was actually electric.
It was?
And you know why it was electric? Because Mike fucking Monaco was on the call.
Oh, okay.
Because Mike fucking Monaco was on the call. That's
All
why,
right,
Jared.
All right.
God.
All right.
Sleep at the wheel.
All right. All right.
Play that shit.
The call of, it's not even the call of the week. It's the call of the series. Call of the series. It's brought to you by Nextel I-90. Head on down to your local Nextel. Get yourself a Nextel I-90. The call of the week is Tristan Casas's home run against the... Nope, this is definitely the wrong home run.
You need
I
me to
didn't play
DM
it though. I didn't play it though.
Doesn't count.
What the fuck did I say? What the fuck was my tweet then?
You definitely tweeted it out. Here. I got it right here. If I can find you in my DMs. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, I found you. Okay. Play this banger. Because I couldn't find it on my timeline either for some reason.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Might have deleted it from the person we posted from. I'm assuming.
Maybe. All right, here it is.
Casas drills it. Right field. God! 3-run shot. They got Pablo Reyes and Casas got to work on that celebration because that home run was too good for that.
What the hell?
This is huge right here.
I just noticed that. Did they fuck up their celebration at home?
I saw Casas like dap himself up.
So Casas is jogging home right now. He goes high forearm to Fabulous at third. He's coming home, and it looks like I think Reyes went to jump up to give him the forearm, and Casas just like hugged him.
That is the worst thing in the entire world.
Yeah, that was and then he looks at Doogie and he's like, what the fuck was that?
I'll be honest. There's a moment between me and you that still haunts me from like a moment like that. Do you remember?
No.
When I first came to your place for the live stream, I went to dap you up. You went for like the fist pound, and it was like one of those weird things where I like massaged your hand for a second. And it still like lives in my brain is like
I don't
so
remember
awkward.
that at all.
Thank God.
I went to fist bump you and you went to dap me up and you just went.
Yep. Oh yeah, like I rubbed the knuckles and everything. It still haunts me after Jake had to come find me in the basement.
That's terrible.
It's a rough hour for me.
Yeah. That is tough. Well, you know what? We'll have a redemption next time we see each other, which God knows when that's going to be, since like even when you're a couple of feet away from me, you still don't come say hi.
Don't. August 28th. See you there.
August 28th?
Yep.
What is that?
It's a Monday, I think.
You're going to Fenway?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, well, I won't be, so.
I might be. What day are you doing baseball hour this week? Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, I'm out that day. You won't see me.
And I never see you.
I'm going to give you the greatest hug of your life.
I don't think you are.
I will.
You usually don't. So
I'm gonna pinch you and tug you in all the best spots.
you're gonna pinch me?
Yeah.
You're gonna pinch me.
Yeah. It's like a good luck thing.
Okay.
You got Red Sox Lottery today?
You know what? I'm glad you asked, because we actually do have Red Sox Lottery today, Tyler.
Let's fucking go.
And it is brought to you by DIRECTV, home to the most local MLB games. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Let's get that random number generator going. You know what? We've yet to have this happen where it's picked a number that we've already picked. So here we go. Red Sox Lottery. The number is 54. Troy O'Leary.
Jesus Christ.
Woo! Troy O'Leary. That is I did not expect to have Troy O'Leary on the podcast here today, but lo and behold, played 7 seasons with the Boston Red Sox. Pretty solid numbers here. Troy O'Leary played with the Boston Red Sox from 1995 to 2001. And he hit 276 with a 331 on base, a 459 slug, and a 791 OPS. How did he get here? Because he wasn't a Red Sox farmhand.
Debuted with the Brewers, actually as a defensive replacement in left field against the Red Sox. And he was claimed off waivers by the Red Sox on April 14th, 1995.
Oh, okay. So he's part of a... What the fuck? Did I just hear? Thunder?
Yeah, I had that here a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, selected off waivers by the Red Sox from the Brewers. Became a free agent, signed with the Devil Rays. But Troy O'Leary... Grants. I'm going to try and find that fucking call. They intentionally walked Nomar to get to Troy O'Leary one too many times. Troy O.
This was the 1999 ALDS.
Oh, yeah. Grand Slam, Troy O'Leary. I used to have a fucking bottle opener that had this call on it.
Hits it in the air into deep right center field. Track, wall, grand slam, Troy O'Leary.
Yeah.
A 7-5 Red Sox lead here in the third inning. They walk Garciaparra, and Troy O'Leary says, take that.
Yeah. Troy O'Leary says, suck my
grand
dick.
Slam, and it's a 2-run Red Sox lead.
Get fastballs away
here. Into right field, well hit. Ramirez at the wall. Goodbye. 3-run home run, Troy O'Leary. 7 RBIs on the night.
Troy
His
O'Leary.
second home run. And with that, the Red Sox take an 11-8 lead.
Imagine trying to fucking pitch around someone else to get to Troy O'Leary in a big game. Are you fucking stupid? The bottle opener that I have is the WEI call.
That team came out of nowhere to go to the World Series.
What is this?
The impossible dream in 1967 when that team came out of nowhere to go to the World Series. This may not be the impossible dream, but it was the unlikely scenario. Down 2-0 and 1 out away from going on to the ALCS.
That was Pedro finishing it off.
My connection. My connection to Troy O'Leary. I didn't see him play clearly, but I always had a stupid amount of his baseball cards. When my dad was giving me his collection, I go through all these different Red Sox cards. For some reason, there was way too many Troy O'Leary, and every time I would get his cards, I'd get upset because, no disrespect, they weren't what I was looking for.
Well, you're an asshole.
Well, when I have fucking 3 pages of Troy O'Leary cards, that's not going to make me a millionaire.
I mean, you don't know that. What if there's like a really big Troy O'Leary fan out there, like me?
You'd be the first.
That's not true.
No disrespect to Troy O'Leary, but he solid player. Solid player.
Those should be right suited to you, but the 1-1 tie is no longer. Troy O'Leary has just left the yard onto Utah Street.
Tyler.
And loud solo home run on the first pitch of inning number 7.
You can't just hit them out there. Troy O'Leary was a beast.
What would you comp him today? What would be your 2023 version of Troy O'Leary?
That's a good question. What player is the best comp for Troy O'Leary today? Let me pick his best season with the Red Sox. So like 97 maybe. Yeah.
Doesn't need to be a Sox player, anyone.
Yeah. 146 games, 15 homers, 32 doubles, hit 309 with an 837 OPS. I mean, that's giving some fucking Justin Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, OPS plus. He seemed very up and down over the years. It was like, I'm just we're looking at box scores here. But it was 116 OPS plus in 95, 88 the next year, 115, 99, 108. Then he kind of tailed off at the end.
Yeah, but peak O'Leary? You kidding me? I can't believe that you guys...
Hell of a middle name.
Peak O'Leary. His middle name?
Troy Franklin O'Leary.
Yeah. Troy Franklin O'Leary.
I need to... you ever heard of a show called Play Big or Go Home, Jared?
No.
This article is from the Berkshire Eagle. Now, O'Leary, 39, is ready to become the Simon Cowell of baseball on a show called Play Big or Go Home. I don't think it happened.
I don't think it did either.
The concept was to start with baseball players, preferably age 18 to 22, sending O'Leary videos of them in action. And then he'd evaluate them and select 15 players from the East, Midwest, and West regions. When he's whittled them down, that's when the judging and voting would begin. What? And then the final 15 players, 5 from each region, will come together on a field in Arizona for the final competition. They'll be judging just as there is on American Idol and Dancing with the Stars. And they were hoping to do 12 to 16 episodes a year. That's crazy.
Pretty cool tweet from Alex Cord just now.
What'd he say?
The 9th inning today was special/unique. That standing ovation to Miguel Cabrera was outstanding. Thank you, Red Sox Nation. That was pretty cool. I mean, we didn't even talk about that. I felt like that was pretty cool in the moment. My first thought, though, was would Red Sox Nation be as generous and nice if the Red Sox were losing? I don't think so.
No.
I think the fact that Red Sox were winning and the game was already in hand, they were like, yay, Miggy. But it was still cool.
I will say, I love Biggie. And for my era growing up, really, he is arguably the most talented hitter we've ever seen. But he does depress me to watch him at this point. It is hard for me.
Just how bad he is now.
Yeah, it just sucks. And I don't blame him. It's the contract. They knew when they gave the deal, that's what it was going to be. But when it's 3 years in a row of a guy who can barely walk around and run, due to injury, that depresses the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's not great.
Get your bag though, bro.
Oh, he's got his bag. All right. You want to do a little Stop and Shop look ahead? Get the fuck out of here.
Let's cook.
The Stop and Shop look ahead is brought to you by Stop and Shop. Head on down to Stop and Shop. Use the promo code Section 10 to get 10% off each one of your tangerines when you buy up to 5 pounds. Minimum of 5 pounds of tangerines. Only at Stop and Shop. Nick Pivetta is back in the rotation versus Josiah Gray. James Paxton versus Mackenzie Gore. That was the Juan Soto deal. And then Chris Sale back on the mound versus Patrick Corbin. That is a 4:05 game on Wednesday. Is this a 4-game series?
3.
It is?
I believe so. Because there's no game.
Oh, because we're off on Monday. Duh. Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up, dickhead.
Nick Pivetta, 8-6, 4.16 ERA, 117 WHIP, and an 11.1 strikeouts per 9. Last 2 games where he started in the first inning. 12 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, 4 homers. Last 2 games when an opener was used, 9 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 1 homer. The strikeout difference is kind of fucking crazy. So he needs to lessen the homers. Duh. 5 in his last 3 starts. Every run he's allowed in his last start was via the home run. His curveball has been his best pitch by far. Hitters are 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts and a 57.1 whiff percentage. That's pretty disgusting. Fastball has been the culprit of his issues this month. All 3 home runs have been off a fastball. Average exit velocity this month is over 96 when it was 91 in July. They need to fix that. Red Sox are 15-13 when he pitches this year, 5-5 in games that he starts. Josiah Gray, 7-9, a 3.69 ERA, a 1.44 WHIP, and a 7.8 strikeouts per 9. His ERA feels a bit deceptive and lucky given the 1.44 WHIP and the 4.73 FIP. He led the MLB in home runs allowed last year with 38. This year, he slashed that by more than half and is now 1.1 per 9 from 2.3 last year. He's had a big drop off in strikeouts this year, 9.3 strikeouts per 9 in 2022, down to 7.8 this year. Not a good August to start. 2 starts, 8 1/3, 10 hits, 9 earned runs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a homer. His fastball has dropped nearly a mile per hour. His slider is his main pitch. He throws it 27% of the time, 233 batting average against, 387 slug. Nationals are 10-13 when he starts. James Paxton in game 2. 7-3 at 3.36 ERA, a 1.15 WHIP, and a 10.1 strikeouts per 9. After that Toronto start, came back big against Kansas City, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, 14 whiffs. His most whiffs in a game since his last start of June. He uses cutter 25% of the time in July, his number 2 pitch, but he's abandoned it in August, which is interesting. Across 2 starts, he's used it a total of 11 times, or 5% of his total pitches. Curveball and changeup have picked up the slack this month with a whiff percentage of 43% and 53%, respectively. His velocity is dipping month by month, 96 to 95.5 to 95 to 94.4. So he's been essentially losing half a mile an hour per month. Red Sox are 7-8 when he pitches. Mackenzie Gore. Gore has a whip that's worse than Gray. Control has been an issue for Gore in his career, this year included. 7 starts of 3+ walks, including 5 starts of 4 walks. Does have good stuff. 2 games of 10+ strikeouts, 6 games of 15+ whiffs. 4-seam, 60% usage, about a 300 batting average against, 519 slug. Curve and slider is 2 and 3 pitches. Curveball, 20% usage, 250 batting average against. Slider, 18% usage, 184 batting average against. The Nationals are 8-15 when Mackenzie Gore pitches. Then we have Chris Sale. First start, been better than anyone could have hoped for. 4 2/3, 1 hit, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts, a homer, and he hit a guy. Fastball was 94.5 miles per hour, which is his season average. 4-seam had 7 whiffs on 14 swings. Slider only had 4 whiffs on 12 swings, and he gave the home run on the slider. Average exit velocity for the game was an excellent 86.3 miles per hour. Only allowed 2 hard hit balls, the home run and a flyout. The Red Sox are 9-3 when he starts and scored just shy of 6 runs a game in support. Then we got Patrick Corbin, 7-11, 4.85 ERA, a 1.50 WHIP, and a 6 strikeouts per 9. Yeah. He's led the MLB in earned runs in both 2021 and 2022. He led Major League Baseball in hits allowed in 2022 and currently leads this season as well. His ERA is somehow 1.5 lower than this year than last year, but his FIP is half a run higher than last year. The Nationals defense cannot be good. He's allowed multiple home runs in 8 of 24 starts this year. He only has 1 start all year with more than 6 strikeouts. He has 5 starts where he's allowed 10+ hits. But credit to Corbin, he does gut out his starts. He's only failed to complete 5 innings 1 time this year. He has 3 starts of 7+ innings. In contrast, he throws 4 pitches and only his slider has an opponent batting average under 300, but his slider, he's allowed 10 home runs. And the Nationals are somehow 11-13 when he starts. So, Pivetta versus Gray, Paxton versus Gore, Sale versus Corbin. Tyler, what do you got?
Give me 2 out of 3. I think they kind of stay in the same spot they've been. They'll drop a game. That's frustrating, like we saw in the second game where you go 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. But the offense has been inconsistent. We go back to the Giants series, 26th in weighted runs created plus, 22nd in batting average, 27th in OBP, 23rd in slug, and 25th in runs scored. I'm a little worried about the ups and downs of the offense right now. Yoshida has not been himself for a hot minute. Hopefully Story can help kind of change that a little bit, but I expect in one of these games, they'll have a letdown offensively and the pitching won't be its sharpest. So give me 2 out of 3. You finish this little stretch of games 7-3. You take care of business the way you need to before shit gets serious.
Jake?
I got a Red Sox sweep in this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know how serious we can say things are about to get because we're about to play the fucking Yankees right now. And I'm not trying to shit talk them, but goddamn, this is your time to stomp on someone's neck and put some space between you.
They could effectively end their season this weekend if they wanted to. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to Blue Jays them.
Yeah. But you got to take care of the Nats first, which is why I think I'm gonna go Sox sweep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes you think this series, there's gonna be something different? Is it just Story having a couple more games under his belt now? What is it?
I just think it's I had concerns about Justin Turner being able to contribute offensively given his heel, but dude fucking homered in 2 games. Story's heating up. Devers sat out a game, so he'll probably play more in this series, and he's got to get it going a little bit here. Casas rolling. Duran's been cold for a little bit. Feels like this is a nice little series for him to maybe pick it up. Obviously not against Corbin, the lefty, but yeah, I just feel like this is a nice series for the offense to break out, and I like the pitching. I like just the fact that there's no opener. That's nice. Just looking at a Stop and Shop look ahead where there's 3 starters going for the Red Sox. How often do we see that? Not very often.
You should never lose a game where you're leading after 6 right now. Seriously, if you have Martin, Kenley, Schreiber, Garrett Whitlock, Bernardino to pick from, Winkowski, no other team is going to be able to offer that multiple days in a row. You should be able to give guys breathers and find that middle ground. Because as we saw, they let Whitlock go 2, probably would max him out at 3. I will say, though, don't expect Tanner Houck. I know Core a couple weeks ago was like, yeah, I want everyone back for the 15th. Looks like he's going to get one more rehab start. Coming off a really good one, though. 3 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 3 Ks, 0 walks, topped out at 95.
All right. There we go. We got 2 sweeps. And what did you say, Tyler?
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. All right. Okay. Anything else? Final thoughts here?
I have one.
What is it?
Shout out Kyle Teal since he's gotten to high A. And listen, before people say it, yes, he's a college player. I get it. Trust me. We all do when you comment this stuff. But he's at high A, definitely probably playing a little below his competition right now. But it was an aggressive assignment. 3 games, 3 for 5, 3 for 6 with the walk, and 3 for 4 with the walk last night. Has shown some ridiculous pop times. 172. That's better than JT Realmuto's mark this season, and he's been the best in all of baseball. Now, why it matters so much for what he's doing at high A, if he finishes the year anywhere, close to this note, he will start next season in Double A. And at that point, you're talking about a guy who's not that far off from the big leagues. Double A is where you really start thinking about those names and how soon they can get up. He's going to move through the system very quickly. It's early, but Kyle Teal is showing everything you could have asked for. And he debuted at number 95 on Baseball America's Top 100.
What is he in the Red Sox system? Is he 3 or 4?
Right now, Sox Prospects actually just put out their new ranking, and they were a little, closer. They put him at 5. They kept Rafaela ahead of him. Mm-hmm. But depending on the list, like Baseball America, they don't have Ceddanne Rafaela on their top 100 still.
That's crazy.
Pipeline has him, I think, at 77. BA's been consistent, but I do agree, even with some of the concerns I've had, what he's doing at AAA, I'd have him on my top 100 right now. I have a hard time seeing otherwise.
Yeah. What else does the fucking guy have to do to prove himself at this point?
He's going nuts. And, someone asked me the other day, do you think he could get called up? And I will say, I don't think he will get called up for a meaningful role, but I could see a Brian Mata similar taxi situation where they let him get a feel that last week of the season, especially if they're kind of out of it. Hang around with the guys because you're going to probably be a big part of this pretty early next year.
All right. We'll be back on Thursday. Going into Friday. It's going to be a motherfucker of a week. I spent 20 minutes complaining about my schedule over the next 3 weeks, so it's
justified.
Here we go. Got a lot of shit on the schedule. We'll be back after the Nat series. Enjoy the week of Red Sox baseball. Jake's takes.
Shout out Luis Urias for maybe the best tag I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Oh, wait, I do actually have one more thing.
Okay,
sorry to. Excuse me?
I said, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't care. But shout out Corey. Is it Corey Brinson? Is that how you pronounce his last name? I always say Corey when we talk. He does our graphics. Ran into Chaim Bloom the other day. Got him to sign a baseball that said "Rest in Peace, Bullet." I was shooting DMs back and forth with him today. One of the coolest things, like truthfully, I've seen. And as someone, I've been supportive of Chaim Bloom over the years and all that. It is very cool to hear that. So I'm happy he knows who Bullet is.
A "Rest in Peace, Bullet" inscription on a Chaim Bloom signed baseball. 2023, brother. It's
peak Tyler Milliken existence.
Yeah, there you go. All right. We'll see you on Thursday.
Buenas noches, amigos.